Calvin Ugelumba Bassey. This man puts the one of the best players in the world, puts him in his pocket, marshaled him throughout that match. And a lot of people have now been hyping him up. People are talking about get him to Manchester United. He's the one that we need. They're talking about they're linking him to big clubs. Fans are clamoring for him. Of course, we know what Calvin Bassey has been doing this season. It's not just this game. Now people are starting to talk about him as potentially, being able to become a world-class defender. This is the same Bassey we watched at Rangers, went to Ajax and had a relatively tough time, and then come to Fulham. And even in his first season playing with Tosin, they still had some hiccups here and there, but now he has come into his own and is now a man and can stand. Smith, like, do you think Calvin Bassey has the potential to be a world-class centre back?
Yes, of course, and I remember the game they played against Palace, and I think he made one mistake. So they were trying to run the commentary on BBC. The guy said that, we know Calvin Bassey is very good, but little things separates the good from the very best. So that he needs to work on some areas. We know he's very good. And the issue is I don't know where the confidence comes from, IoT. The confidence level is extreme. In fact, the way he was bullying Zimbabwe, I went to go and watch the game. The way he bullied Zimbabwe, the way he bullied them, I wish we have like two of them in the back line. So for me, I think it's our best, without missing word, it's our best central defender. And if Mimiko is watching here, Mimiko said that this is your boy. Yeah, are you sure? But Mimiko, if you are listening here now, can you see that I'm right about Calvin Bassey? So for me, I think it's gonna be a very tough summer for Fulham to hold on to Calvin Bassey, and I'm hearing that you are talking about Man United, talking about that is forcing on the table. I mean, I don't know what that is forcing on the table, but if you see Calvin Bassey in Spain, don't be surprised.
If you see him in Spain, I will say I am very, very impressed with Calvin Bassey. I think Calvin Bassey is another example of why I always beg and challenge Nigerian fans to give people time. Give people time sometimes. If you can see ability in somebody, even though they might not necessarily be putting out the output right from the beginning, give them grace. It's different if somebody does not have the ability and you're like, oh, why is this guy even there? But when you know that somebody has the ability, give them the grace. Because Calvin Bassey, again, in the Super Eagles, did not have the best stats. Some people were criticizing him, some people were doubtful, some people were not sure. But we could see that this guy has the ability. And then now he's coming into his own. Now he's maturing. For me, I don't even lie. I don't really want him to leave Fulham yet. I think, it's very easy to just have one great season.
Okay. What if Marco Silva leaves Fulham
to Saudi?
No, Marco Silva is tipped to replace Big Angie.
Big Angie. No, last summer now, Saudi wanted Silva, but his donor turned it down. They gave him some. They offered him some big money, and he turned it down to stay with Fulham. And he's doing a great job with Fulham.
Tottenham wants him now.
But I think, if Silva leaves, it will depend on whether their next coach is. If say, at Fulham, if it's a coach that you can buy into his ideas, that looks like he can continue on the same trajectory, this is a team that right now they are scratching the surface of potentially playing in Europe next season. So for me, I understand that it's very easy to just shine and say, okay, peace, I'm bouncing. But I also think that stability can do a lot of good for you. Before you go somewhere else now, then the lights might become a little bit too bright. And then all of a sudden, people are like, oh, well, was he really as good as we thought he was? It's different because, again, he hasn't done it consistently for a number of seasons. This is his first season where everybody is really taking notice. But if he does leave, I cannot hold it against him. There's also the saying that you must strike while the iron is hot. So he and his team, I'm talking about his management, they will be in the best position to know what is best for him in terms of their opinion of him, how they think he can progress. Obviously, if a team in the Champions League comes, it will be hard for you to say, oh, no, I don't want to go to the Champions League. If a top team historically comes, it will be hard for you to say, no, I don't want to go to this top team. I want to stick with Fulham. But personally, I wouldn't mind seeing him stay at Fulham, just negotiate a relatively good pay rise. I don't know what kind of money Fulham likes to pay people, but try to see if you can negotiate some more money, make yourself into a key player in the team. And then if you have another great season, you can say, okay, I've served my purpose, especially if they maybe somehow qualify for the Conference League or something, then it might not be bad staying. Kenneth says Calvin Bassey to Manchester United is gathering steam. It's me like, if I know that United are rubbish, I know, I acknowledge that fact. But if he joins United, historically they're a gargantuan club. Would you think that that's a good move for him?
Which historically they are good
They're
historically, but
historically, yeah, now.
they are good. But imagine them; they are still wearing pampers. So with this is for me. I just think that Man United needs surgery,
Hmm,
and anybody that comes become a scapegoat. Look at Anthony doing well in Real Betis. See, Man United needs surgery, in my own opinion. So I think that team need overhauling.
hmm,
And I'm not sure this manager will really want to carry out the overhauling. But this is your very so
hmm,
they have been horrible. Ten Hag seems to be a saint now, based on what this man is doing. Man United. So I think he should look for a way to avoid it.
hmm. But I mean, I'm not trying to defend United. If you've watched me, I don't care for United. But could it be that maybe some players cannot live up to the pressure of playing for a club like United? Because just like I'm saying, when I'm talking about Uche, I'm saying playing for Getafe is very
Mm,
different from playing for the Super Eagles.
mhm,
Playing for Leicester is very different from playing for the Super Eagles.
mhm,
Playing for Manchester United is very different from playing for Fulham. The pressure, the lights, the expectations,
mhm,
the media, everything is different.
mhm,
So maybe that's why some people are not quite cutting it. Look at Jadon Sancho. When he plays in Dortmund, it looks like some top player. Goes to Man U, flop. Goes to Chelsea, does well for 2 matches. Then once people start talking about him, all of a sudden he has forgotten how to play ball again.
mhm,
So this pressure sometimes can get to players. Not the reality is not everybody is built for the bright lights. I'm not saying Bassey isn't. I'm just saying in general that not everybody is built for the bright lights. Some people are supposed to just be low key, just doing their thing, not too much hype, not too much pressure, just cruising and performing well. The
mhm.
moment you put them in front of everybody, all of a sudden now they're like a deer in headlights. They don't know what to do again.
But I think like Bassey, we thrive better joining a more stable team.
That might.
If you look at the recruitment process of Man United has been like concerning, in my own opinion. So,
Mm.
so
Well, Sir Jim is making things happen now. Nah?
signing yeah, Euro, I mean, in Euro. I don't know what signing in Euro and the boy in Obi see, let me tell you something. All of them will still do their job. I know that's what I just think. Because all it's a gamble. You don't know maybe Chidi Obi will become good. You don't know that. He's still 17 years of age. You don't know that. You don't know maybe that Kuit Keita, Kone also, the boy in Mali will become a good player. You
Mm,
have seen the boy, good player. I'm like you, fine player. And I've seen the boy, in this United, very good player. So, but you don't know. So a lot of things. I just feel you should go to a system where it works. For me, if Nottingham Forest said Milenkovic and asked him to come there, it's good
mm, mm,
because Moreno is really, a lot of people wanted Moreno now. If they sell Moreno and they want to replace him with Calvin Bassey, you should
mm.
go.